Welcome back, my awesome people. In today's episode, I'll be talking with a revolutionary individual who is breaking through the manga scene with his suspenseful storyline, deep characters, and vivid art. Quintin Dorsey. He is the creator and author of the American manga series Night of Abyss. Night of Abyss is an American manga series inspired by Full Metal Alchemist and Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's a gritty and intellectual story that takes its reader on a thrilling and adventurous journey throughout the world of Abyss. With 3 volumes currently out on Webtoons, it has become the fastest growing indie series. Quintin has been working on this project for about 8 years with the aim of bringing more representation to Black creators and characters in the anime and manga industry. The story of Night of Abyss follows Knight, a 17-year-old survivor of the destroyed ancient Abyss Island of Hope, as he embarks on a journey to uncover the mystery behind the island's destruction and to prevent an ominous prophecy called Night of Abyss. Additionally, Quintin's work has gained significant traction on social media, amassing over 100,000 followers and being acknowledged by renowned manga and anime leaders. His innovative approach not only aims to diversify the industry, but to give kids and adults an authentic Black anime experience that they can learn, connect, and grow with, while at the same time ushering in a new age of authentically Black content in the manga space. So let's get right into it. Welcome back, my awesome people. I am here today with Quintin Dorsey, the author and creator of Knights of Abyss American manga series. If you haven't heard of it, well, guess what? You will hear a lot more of it today. So Quintin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right, man. Appreciate you bringing me on the show, man. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. I appreciate you responding to my message because I was just scrolling through Instagram. I saw some of your work. It seemed interesting. I've never seen it before. And I figured, hey, you know what? Hopefully he wants to do a conversation, show my viewers something different. So just to start, what inspired you to create the Knights of Abyss American manga series? And can you kind of describe your creative process from initial concept to the finished product?
Yeah. So for me, ever since I was a kid, it's really been like a childhood dream. So if you ask my parents, they'll tell you when I was a little kid, I used to walk around the house and I used to say like I wanted to be a cartoonist. I didn't even know what a cartoonist was at the time, but I always knew I wanted to be involved in just like creating like fantasy stories and that type of stuff. So um when I was 18, like 18, 19, heading into college, I started writing a story. So pretty much I spent the whole undergrad, graduate years of college, and all the way into a couple of years in my professional field as a cybersecurity analyst, just writing a story. I finished it in 2019. And from there, I did. My dad was like, "All right, Quinn." He used to call it the never-ending story. So you were like, "Quinn, you've been writing this never-ending story. Like, what are you gonna do? You're done now." So I was like, "All right, Dan, you're right." So from there, I just got together with some really good artists, started getting designs done, and I started picking up a following. This was back when Instagram, like the algorithm worked. So it was like 2018, 19. So it was like, people started following me. And I was like, damn. So before I know it, I had like 20,000 followers and it just was off designs. So I was like, okay, all right, looks like I really got something
That's
here.
amazing.
Yeah, so um, we launched the first Kickstarter. It did like 18,000 and like it did like 18,000 in like less than like 20 days or 25 days or something like that. Then from there it was like, yeah, just hit the ground running. So finished volume 2, volume 3. And then that's when I came to the getting the proof of concept anime trailer done and accompanying that with a WeFunder, and that just took off crazy. And like right now we're a little bit over 100,000, having 10 meetings a day with all these different folks from the industry, outside the industry. So definitely everything is moving in the right direction, thank God. And as far as like inspirations, yeah, man, as a kid, we all kind of grew up with like the traditional, X-Men 90s series, Batman animated series, Spider-Man animated series, Ninja Turtles, like that type of stuff. But then once like anime hit the scene, like my uncle Benji, he introduced me and my brother to Ninja Scroll. You know, we had no business watching Ninja Scroll because Ninja Scroll was like for anime people, they know Ninja Scroll is like a wild anime, but we was like probably like maybe 6, 7, 8, whatever. And my uncle was always into like he would always just have cool shit. So and he thought he was a ninja. He used to do stuff like run up walls and like run up like yeah, he was like, yo, he was like really like a ninja, right? So I was like, yo, that's cool. So he had put us on in like Ninja Scroll. So we watching Ninja Scroll as a kid. And we're like, yo, what is this? We ain't never seen nothing like that. So from there, we was like just trying to get our hands on any anime we can. So I remember my homeboy Jasper. Shit, I just seen Jasper at BlurCon. Shout out to my man Jay Reese. Um, and he used to always have the anime plugs. Like he would always have like these anime DVDs. So I remember we watched this one anime. It was called Sin, and it just was it was great. It was like crazy. It was like really one of those like weird anime people really don't know about. So like he was just putting us on. He would just have these weird anime joints. We would just watch as much as possible, and then we get introduced to Dragon Ball Z.
Oh yeah.
And after we saw Dragon Ball Z, it was after that it was a wrap, bro. It was a wrap. Dragon Ball Z just completely trumped everything in America, period. Like nothing could come close to what Dragon Ball Z was doing. Then after that it was that's when you really had that Adult Swim rush. So you had Yu Yu Hakusho, had Inuyasha, um uh was yeah, Rurouni Kenshin, Ronin Warriors, G Gundam, just all the classic Cowboy Bebop, all the classic, all the I feel like those were like the golden age anime, and that kind of took us into like Code Geass, Fullmetal Alchemist. That's a part of the golden age too, and like all the classics. So from there, yeah, just from pretty much childhood all the way to like young adulthood to high school, Naruto, Bleach, all that. It was like, bro, anime just took off, and from there, I was always a bigger anime fan than anything else.
Like I know everyone's favorite's Goku, but I'm more of a Vegeta guy.
Yeah,
I
Vegeta's
like
my guy too. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I
I
like.
like his journey.
Yeah, nah, Vegeta is one of my favorites. Gohan was like when we used to play fight back in the day. I was Gohan. My cousin was Piccolo, and my brother was like Vegeta. Yeah, so
I've heard a lot of saying in the past, like I would say 10 years, people are saying that Piccolo was actually supposed to be a colored person, like he was supposed to be a black character. Have you heard those rumors? Because I don't know if they've
it's
confirmed it
a
or not, but
it's a joke, but yeah,
okay.
because people I think watching Dragon Ball Z, I did always view him as like the black character because his
Yeah.
voice was deep, and I feel like it's like the way he kind of carried himself was like kind of like a black dude.
He has some
But I mean,
swag.
yeah, but I mean we can't. But like that shows you the need for like black anime right there. The fact that we over here talking about a green man was like come on,
That was
bro.
that was
Yeah,
the closest
yeah,
representation that we
closest
had.
representation was it. And then he was always getting his ass whooped. So
I know. He wasn't even the strongest one, which we were kind of hoping for.
right, and yeah, no, Piccolo was always getting beat down.
So based on your series, how did you develop your characters from Knights of Abyss? I know you have characters such as Knight, Hiroshi X, Emperor Aeolus. So do any of them draw from personal experiences or are they just totally fictional? How
Mhm.
did you come up with your characters?
So I would say Hiroshi X is definitely inspired by Malcolm X. And he runs a group in the story called the Organization X. And they're for the history people, they're inspired by the Black Panther Party for self-defense. So for the folks that don't know, so after Malcolm was assassinated in 65, the Black Panther Party formed shortly after that. And they actually walked in the spirit of Malcolm. So when I was creating the story, I remember exactly the day I created the character. I was in college and I used to work at the community center. Shout out to Miss Agnes. She got me a job at a community center. And I'll have a lot of downtime because I was just, checking passes. So I'll be sitting down and I would just be writing a story. Like, so and not a sidebar, but some of these kids nowadays, when I go to LA Fitness and I see some of them just sitting on a phone all day long, I don't get it because it's like, bro, this is downtime. You should be doing
Yeah.
your work or you should try reading a book, just being productive. You on your phone, you just wasting time.
You could do that
Like,
at home.
yeah, you did at home. Yeah, put the phone down and like get stuff done because that time that I spent, just stuck at the job and not have nothing to do and actually being constructive and writing, I wrote so much stuff that, you know what I'm saying? Like that I wrote it. I really was writing a story during that time. So, but yeah, but now I get back to the point. So yeah, I was sitting there and I was like, damn, all right, I want like an OG character that's like spiritually grounded, that's like intelligent and definitely OP strong. And I was like, man, what should I name him? And then who should I name him after? So then I was looking, I was like, yo, what had a character that was like Malcolm X? So I was like,
Nice.
yeah, the Hiroshi X. And it hit me. I was like, yeah, Hiroshi X. And then I was like, oh, that shit sound hard. And then after that, I just started writing the character, writing his background. Then I was like, oh yeah, then he runs an organization. I was like, yeah. So from there, like that's kind of how I came up with the character. I would say Night isn't really based off of anyone historical or anything like that. Milita, I think of Milita is more so. Nah, she's not really based off anyone either. I think of Milita. I don't want to say too much about Milita. So I think because she hasn't been introduced, so I'll let but yeah, there's let me think. But I would say no, I think Hiroshi and the Organization X are the only ones that were like specific to like real historical people. Like they were inspired by real historical people. Everyone else was just more so just ideas I had about certain characters that came in my head. So
Well, that's actually really, really cool though, just having Hiroshi X be based off of Malcolm X. And I'm sure they have similar traits, they probably have
yeah,
similar
yeah.
personalities.
Yeah.
So were there, for example, when you were not only growing up, but just creating this series, were there any Black writers in the manga world that were popular? Because I personally don't know any. But were there anybody that you kind of looked up to, or would you say you're kind of the only Black creator in this sector?
So yeah, so there was absolute. Well, okay, so there was Dwayne McDuffie. He's in the comic book space, but he was definitely someone that I definitely looked up to. Like, I'm a huge Justice League and Justice League Unlimited fan of the series, and if you go back and watch those episodes and you watch the best ones, they all were written by Dwayne McDuffie.
Ah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, rest in peace to Dwayne McDuffie. But yeah, I would say from that perspective, Dwayne McDuffie was probably the only Black one that I knew, that I actually looked up to when it comes to like from like the writing aspect. So yeah.
So you're pretty much in this field kind of on your own, I would say then, right?
Well,
You,
no, no, no.
you have a
I'm
good
not.
support team, but
Yeah.
you're kind of leading the way for, I guess.
Well, I'll say this. There's like as far as like the Black manga movement, you got my boy Black Sun. He's on Webtoons. Ordeal, shout out to Ordeal. So Black Sun is over in the UK. Ordeal, I think Ordeal is in like Trinidad or just Caribbean Islands or something
Oh,
like that.
nice.
But yeah, they're really big on Webtoons. Um, and then it's me, and there's other people who are like, they have IPs, but like far as the people who are like leading the charge, like it's really just us three. So yeah.
All right. Well, I hope that after this interview, it will inspire many others to rise up. And in the next few years, hopefully, it will be more than just a handful and it will be tens,
Yeah.
maybe even hundreds, because I think this space is coming back into its golden age. Because as you can see, many streaming services are pretty much focused on anime. If you look at Netflix now, they're playing Naruto left, right, and center. It is becoming much, much bigger again. So I think that in the next few years we'll see a lot more creativity, a lot more imagination, just exactly like what you're doing right now. So can you discuss, since as you said there's only a handful of you
Yeah.
colored creators in this space, are there any specific challenges or obstacles that you faced as a Black creator in this space, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, there was more than a few. I would say I think for me the biggest challenge was just making sure that the features of like Black characters was like appropriately represented in like the book, right? So sometimes I would have to like always kind of double back with artists and be like, hey, bro, black people hair don't look like white people hair. Like, you know what I'm saying? Gotta change that, make sure that hair's right. Facial expressions, just the little subtle things that we do, like, how we react to certain stuff, the way we kind of, look like that type of stuff. So I really did struggle with that. But what did help me was the Boondocks. The Boondocks was probably the
Ooh.
only, like, because Boondocks is technically an anime too. So when it comes to facial expressions, like when I was trying to find the right facial expression to like express a certain like characteristic or whatever, the Boondocks really helped me because like they nailed it. But yeah, I would say definitely that was probably the biggest one. I think I mean going to conventions and people weird, weird looks. You get the like the white gaze where people
Yeah.
like why are you here type shit. I would get a very small minority of out of people who would buy the book that were like not black people, right? So there would be there's clearly there's like race fans, like people who were just like
Yeah.
they're just fans of like if you're white they're going to support, but if you're black they're not about to support. So I mean.
Yeah.
So I would say any creator knows that that's a real hurdle. So it's like you can't even. There's so many conventions that are pretty much like kind of like white oriented or white dominated, to where if you go to that space, you can't go because you're not going to sell anything because the majority of folks are just going to walk right by you. Even if your stuff is 10 times better, which my stuff was better than everybody's stuff there. So it's like what I'm
Just
saying. So
that
that's
bias and discrimination that they have.
yeah, so it's like you kind of had to navigate and figure out which were the conventions where people weren't like on that type of time, and then kind of move from there. So, but that comes from trial and error. So you got to actually go out there. So like my first 2 years, I spent like touring. It was like I did 60 shows in like 2 years.
Oh
So and I
wow.
lost a lot of money because I didn't know that people really are moving around like that. So yeah.
And so, and exactly a great segue into my next question. So, because a lot of people will probably, as you said, race is an issue in this sector, as people will just walk right by you. They won't really pay attention to your work. Do you think representation matters in this sector? What do you think? And also for other Black creators as well.
Yeah, I think representation definitely matters. I mean, because one, the demographics are there, right? So if you look at I believe Crunchyroll, they released some statistics I want to say a year ago, a year or two ago, and 18% of their subscribers in America were black people. So that's like 10.8 million black subscribers who are tuning in to watch anime, right? So if you just take that and multiply it by, the amount of black anime fans around the world, I mean, what is it? 70, 80, 100 million? I mean, Africa heavily consumes anime. There's
Yeah.
3.2 billion people there. I mean, you can just take Africa and America, and you already have a crazy demographic of people who already like anime. So, do you really think if, black anime or when black anime pops off, they're going to be like, oh, not watching that? No, they're going to be like, yes, finally, right? I mean, and that's proven, right? So I got promo on the spiritual world. Shout out to the spiritual world. They're like a big influencer page. My video just outdid a Chris Brown video and an Ice Spice twerk video. My joint
For
is at three.
you,
My joint is
congratulations.
at 3.3 million views right now, and it was just a 40-second trailer, just off the trailer. So it, it's there, bro. Like it's there, and representation is definitely needed because the demographic is there. That Black anime fans have been wanting this for a very long time. So, but as far as like changing the minds of folks who are have been indoctrinated with like anti-Black bias, I think when something becomes popular enough, then yeah, to a certain extent, but also I don't really care. I mean, the demographic for me, anybody can enjoy, but the demographic is black folks. The demographic is there. So, I'm not trying to appeal to people who, are dealing with these sort of like, cognitive issues or whatever, whatever you want to call these little bias issues. So that's not my goal. I mean, you know, yeah, yeah. So yeah.
No, that's actually key, as you said, right? Because there is a demand, right? Your target audience isn't the non-blacks. It is actually for blacks and colored people, and
Yeah.
there is an audience. It's just that it's not being reached out to them. That's the only problem is that little pipeline of here's the product, there's the audience, but how do we connect them together? So you're not trying to change people's minds. You're just looking out for the people who want it but just don't have access to it, and you're giving them, you know, the product. I personally, especially in Canada, we have a lot of Black people into manga and anime. Some of my best friends are all about manga and anime, and so that's where I actually get some of my, you know, hey, what should I watch next? What should I watch next? And the question for, or the problem that they have is, even if I did create something great, then what? What do I do next? So what would be some advice that you would give a Black creator that wants to get into the manga and anime space?
So I would say, one, write your story, because you don't want to get into like finish your story, or at least finish the initial draft of how you want your story to like end, because you don't want to get in a situation where, you know, you create a book and now it got some, you know, it got some motion, and you're like, you're gonna feel pressured to like, oh damn, I gotta write the next chapter, then I gotta get this done, then I gotta go do. It's like, for one thing I learned is that I had to rewrite season one like 3, 4 times, right? So out of the whole, from me being 19 all the way to now, I had to rewrite, and I'm still rewriting it, right? So it's like, and then I'm finding plot holes, and I'm finding ways that I can make stuff way better. So, you know, I would say writing that whole story out. And after you feel like you got that initial draft of how you want the story to end, then I will start, you know, kind of getting, you know, your books in production. Two, don't quit your job. Like a lot of creators, they just quit their job,
That's a
and you know,
very good point.
and it's like, no, bro, like your 9 to 5 sustains you, and it can help you invest in your own stuff. Don't quit your job. Don't be in a rush to quit your job. Also, you know, you need to people got to find ways to get into fields that are lucrative, right? So I'm in IT. You know, anybody can go take a couple months and get a computer certification and go get them a higher salary job. You know, if you're really serious about this, it's going to cost a significant amount of money. So you're going to need that capital. So you're going to actually have to make sure that you're in a field that's paying you enough so where you can actually make real moves. Because if you're not, then you're not going to be making any real moves. So I would say, definitely make sure your professional field is something that's lucrative. And if it's not, figure out how you can get into a lucrative field, you know. And then yeah, I would say after you build up a following, you got a couple books out, get that high quality proof of concept done. Whatever it is, if you want a live action or your anime or animation or whatever, get that done. Make sure it's very high quality. Put together a real marketing package, like, you know what I mean, real marketing money, and bet on yourself and throw it out there and bet on yourself. That's everything I did, you know. I didn't take any shortcuts. And yeah, I just bet on myself, and I just did it the right way. So, you know, I would say anybody can follow my blueprint. And if if you got something that people want, man, you'll win. Yeah.
No,
So and
yeah.
yeah,
No, I totally agree with you because I know a lot of people who will quit their 9 to 5 job, pursue their, you know, passion. Six
yeah.
months down the road, their savings are done. They have no more to fund their passion with, and now they're scrambling to look for a job. So, viewers, listen to what Quintin said. Do not quit your 9 to 5. Also, another positive thing is you don't need a big corporate publishing company anymore, right? You can, as long as you have a great story, you have some great art, you have a great plot, great characters. We live in a day and age these days where you can just go on Kickstarter. You can open up a, you know, a website. As long as your marketing is on point, you can get to your connection because you know, back in the days, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, before social media and everything, you had to contact Penguin Books, you had to contact this publisher, and 9 times out of 10 they would reject you, right? Because they're looking for something else.
Yep,
Right. And it
yep.
might take 5 years to even for you to publish your first book because of all the changes they requested. But at this point in day and age, right, just as you did, you bet on yourself, right? You use your funds from your 9 to 5. You use your extra money to fund your passion. If it works, great. If it doesn't, hey, at least you can say you tried it, right? And so based on your style of marketing and getting out to the public, what is some of the feedback that you've received? I'm sure, I mean, you've already raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. You've already sold thousands of copies. So I'm sure the feedback is great. But in the beginning stages, right when you were beginning, what was some of the feedback you were getting? How did that help you improve your series? Can you touch upon that?
Yeah, well, I do want to go back. So, my faith is very important. So, keep God first. That's number one, y'all. So
Definitely.
I want to make sure, like, yeah, okay, I meant to say that. Keep God first, bro. A lot of praying, faithful mustard seed, that type of stuff. So yeah. But okay.
No, definitely say it.
Yeah.
I put my all into God as well. That's
Yeah.
without that, what can you really do?
Facts, facts. Because a lot of things that happen, divine intervention, bro, straight up. So, I mean,
100%.
yeah, yeah. All right, my fault. What was the question? My bad, bro. All right.
No, the question was some feedback that you received in the beginning. 'Cause I know a lot of people hate feedback. They hate looking at comments. They hate constructive criticism. They just want to do their own thing, whether it's right or wrong. But did you use the feedback from others to improve yourself, improve your writing?
Yeah, man. So, honestly, volume one. The pacing was bad. And the pacing was bad because I didn't have the budget. So I already knew the pacing was bad because I had to cut a lot out the way I really wanted to do it. It didn't come out. And also the artist I worked with Volume One, she was a great artist, but there was a language barrier. She was over in Korea. So when we're trying to I'm trying to I like convey stuff to her, she's not really kind of getting it. So like the artist I worked on volume two and volume three, now who I'm working with now, my boy Jacob Noble, we're gonna go back and we're gonna actually redo volume one, and that'll be on the webtoons or whatever. So we're gonna redo the whole volume one, so it'll be the right way. But I would say some of the constructive feedback was the pacing for volume one, which I already knew, but I mean, yeah, yeah. So, but so, yeah, I definitely took that into account, and yeah. But I mean, as far as feedback, everybody, they all love it. Like volume two, volume three, like everybody's like, "Yo, I'm fucking with this." Like I haven't had one negative comment. Um, maybe from like an old dude who was like some like OG Marvel comic guy, like. I don't know what he was talking about though. He was like looking at my book talking about, yeah, why is the colors like this? And he was like trying to give me some,
The
I don't know.
picky guy.
Bro, yeah, I was like,
The
what the
the one
fuck?
that sits on the couch and judges but doesn't do much himself.
Exactly, bro. One of those, at conventions, bro, there'd be so many like philosophers that come to your table and it'd be like, bruh, and they don't buy shit. They just come there and talk to you for 30 minutes. Like, good luck, brother. So I mean, yeah.
That's good. As long as you're able to take the feedback, use it, make it better. And I'll definitely be getting my hands on your series as well. I am definitely going to keep it as a collection. How do you see your series, Knights of Abyss, evolving in the future? What are your long-term goals for the series? It doesn't have to be the character development or the plot, but just where do you see this series? Are you going to maybe end it after, say, volume 10 and then create a new one? Or where do you see yourself?
So right now, man, I'm doing so many rewrites, and because I have so many great, like, better ideas of how to expand on certain stuff. So it's like right now I'm expanding this series. Like, the overall story of how I wanted to end is done, but that could actually change because I just have so many great ideas, and I'm like really incorporating it, and like just writing more episodes and that type of stuff. So. I don't know. I'm sitting back thinking like, yo, this could be a pretty lengthy series. I mean, not One Piece lengthy, but I mean, I would say in anime terms, it could go for a good 12, 15 seasons. I would say it could have like lengthwise, it could have an Attack on Titan length.
No, I think that's fair because sometimes, you might get into a series and they don't fully detail the storyline. They don't fully detail, the growth of the character or the growth of the problem or the plot. Like me personally, I love long series because you get to actually understand and
Well,
see
yeah.
things compared to, you know, a three-part series where everything is rushed, everything is generalized, and it
Yeah.
leaves you with questions at the end. If somebody wanted to be a manga writer, regardless of race, what three things do they need to put in their series? Or three things that they need to focus on? Is it focus on the characters, focus on the art part, the drawings? Like what should, someone starting off focus on the most?
So I think first you need to identify what type of story you're trying to tell, right? Because like manga and anime, there's so many that you got One Punch Man, which is like a comedy. You got Naruto, which Naruto is definitely a high level anime, but it has like those aspects of like comedy where it's like
Yeah.
not too serious. And then you got stuff like Code Geass, where there is no comedic breaks. There's no breaking the fourth wall. There is no any of that. It's just a straight, serious, high level anime. Everything's very serious. Same thing with like Death Note. So I would say one, identifying that because actually when I first started writing KOA, it's like I always wanted it to be very serious like Code Geass, but then I found myself kind of drifting into like doing like kind of like that fourth wall stuff that you may see in like a One Punch Man or Naruto. And then I was like reading over it and I was like, bro, this is like contradictory. It's like conflicting. It's like, bro, if I'm gonna make a serious one, I gotta be serious. So I cut all that out and like, yeah, it's just, just comedy, but the comedy is more so, uh, it's more so like how you would see in like a like Code Geass, where like it's kind of dry humor, but it's not like, over the top, like funny, funny. So I would say first thing, identify what type of story you're trying to tell. Then after that, definitely the artwork. Artwork is everything because that's what people see. That's the visual.
Yeah.
So what's gonna draw people in always is going to be, does your stuff look cool? And if your stuff looks cool, that's enough that people would be like, let me check it out. And if your story's good, you got them. So definitely make sure that artwork is high quality and something that's appealing. Um, and then lastly, I would say making sure you have money to market,
Yep.
because it's not enough to just, have something, but you got to get it out there. So marketing is definitely the biggest key to anything. So I would say if you have those two elements where you got a good story, you got good artwork, the last key is just the marketing. So yeah,
That makes sense, right? How else are they going to find you without good marketing?
I'm telling you, yeah, you got to market that thing.
So I've spoken to a lot of business people and entrepreneurs in the past few months, and I've always asked them this question. In the next few months, there is elections coming up, regardless of who wins. I know many entrepreneurs and business people would rather a Republican winner because it's less red tape, less regulations when it comes to expanding their business.
Mhm.
But for yourself, I'm not saying which one would be better, but
Mhm.
will the elections affect your business in any way or your journey? What do you think about that?
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, one, um, I'm an intellectual first, and I'm pro-black first before I'm anything else, and I'm a man of God first. So,
Nice.
I don't, I know a lot of creators. If you follow me for a while, bro, I talk about politics all the time in my story. Like I be talking hella shit. I don't align myself with the right or the left. I mean, I'm rooted in black radical politics and anti-colonial thought. So my philosophy, my ideology, comes from Malcolm X or the Black Panther Party, Bobby Seale, UMP Newton, Asada Shakur, Dr. King, like the revolutionaries. So. No, as far as the election, no, right now in America, we're dealing with we're on a brink of, a real deal fascist being elected. I mean, Donald Trump was a fascist. There's no debate about that. I mean, he tells you he's going to be a fascist. He's saying he's going to be a dictator for the first day in office. No, like, no, this election is going to be very, very, very serious, very dangerous, and especially with the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court just made it legal. They made it legal for the president to bribe people. Clearly, they said that he can just do that. Also, they also made it clear that he's a king now. So right now, the president is a king because you can't actually hold him accountable for anything. Like with their decision, they said that you need to have an official action. If it's an official action, then it's okay. And if you're trying to prove that the president did something wrong, you can't use the evidence of the official action. So essentially, it makes it so if the president wanted to assassinate your ass, the president can assassinate your ass, and you can't really hold him accountable. That's very scary.
Wow.
So
But then there's this thing that keeps coming up, especially in the Black community, about Project 2025. Like
oh yeah,
in Canada, we don't. I think we've only started being talked about maybe the past 2, 3 weeks, from what I know.
yeah.
But can you talk more about that if you can? What is Project 2025? And yeah, just in general, I would say.
Yeah, so I'm not an expert in Project 2025, but I am aware of it. But no, it's just a right-wing conservative fascist project, pretty much. It's just a bunch of bullets of how they're going to continue to, erode democracy, take away people's rights, and just, implement their fascist rule. That's really it. Republicans, I'm not the Democrats suck too. I mean, the Democrats, first of all, in America, the right and the left are bought by corporations. So politics, like money and corporations essentially own Congress. So, I mean, it's really two sides of the same coin, but to a certain extent, it's not because Democrats aren't trying to be straight up fascists. Republicans are, and they are like, yeah, fascism. We're just going to run everything. Right now, the Supreme Court is trying to make it so, them and their new king, Donald Trump, pretty much run the country, and they just do whatever the fuck they want to do, and there's like no checks and balances. So, nah, bro, the Republicans are straight up fascists. And they have to be defeated in November, or it's going to be a very scary time. Because at that point, he knows no one can do anything. He gets elected again, he knows nobody can do anything to him. So that means he can do whatever the hell he wants to do. And that's scary. And that sets a dangerous the Supreme Court set a dangerous precedent because one, they set it up so where it's not just worrying about Donald Trump, it's worried about future people who are going to run, who may be more savvy than him, or maybe people who are pretending they're not fascists, and then they get in there and they just become fascists. And a lot of people who study fascism historically, a majority of dictatorships happen from democratically elected processes. People get elected in office and then they just turn into fucking fascists. So that's how it actually happens. So, this is a very dangerous time. The Supreme Court is completely out of control. And the Project 25 is just a right-wing Republican, crazy plan to take everything over. That's basically what they're doing.
Canadians haven't really had much of a good, I guess, economy in the past 10 years, I would say. Even if you forget about COVID, it's just, businesses have been leaving, taxes are going through the roof. So we have similar problems. The only problem we don't have is immigration because we don't have a border like the United States has a border, unless Americans are jumping over here. We don't know. But do you think that there is going to be hope for a better future? Or do you think these elections actually will deter a better future for not only people like us, like Black people, but just people in general? Because these days, everybody's going broke. Everyone is struggling. Everyone is losing jobs. So what are your thoughts on that?
No, definitely. For over here, the outcome of this election is will be very I mean, it's gonna be detrimental to a lot of folks if Donald Trump gets elected. I mean, he's said that he's gonna indemnify all police, meaning that but we have a serious issue with police killing Black people over here in America. And he's pretty much saying that he's gonna give all of them immunity. So they already don't really get held accountable.
Oh,
So
really?
just imagine. Yeah, that's what he said, bro. Yeah, he said that shit. So just
Oh,
think about it.
wow.
They already don't get held accountable. So he's saying he getting all this, he gonna make sure they're not held accountable. Impunity. Like, come on, man. Like that's great. That's like some Stalin secret police shit, right? I mean,
This
some
is pretty
not
much it's just pretty
oppo.
much creating a military in a
Yeah, like
domestic land.
see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's yeah, nah, I mean, as far as optimism, yeah, I think we always gotta stay optimistic, but Democrats are gonna actually have to get off their ass and actually get something done because the issue that they have is that, oftentimes you vote for them and you either get crumbs or you get nothing. And it's like that's not motivating, people to get up off their ass and vote, right? Especially if they're not actually seeing any real changes in their day-to-day lives. So they're going to actually have to pass some real tangibles that actually, change someone's life. Like the last time we had like a real tangible was probably Obamacare, because that really did give people affordable health care. And I think that was probably the last thing that really got passed in Congress that really like helped, the proletariat, like the working class people, all working class people. So,
That's actually
yeah,
a really good point.
yeah, yeah. I mean, outside of that, I can't remember like, you know,
Anything tangible for the
yeah, but
regular
that was on the,
folk.
that's on the Democrats though, because they had the opportunity to get rid of the filibuster. The filibuster is like some Jim Crow relic that the Senate uses whenever they want to like, stall a bill or whatever that gets. Yeah, so it's like he could have got rid of that and they could have actually, got something passed. But Joe was on some. I don't know what the fuck he was doing. It didn't make any sense to me. It was like, bro, if the Republicans are playing hardball, y'all over here playing kickball. Like, what is going on here? It's like, nah, y'all gotta. If y'all going, y'all opposites. It's time to like get in the field, bro. Like, stop with all the dumb shit. They're coming here. They're coming here being fascists, taking power. Y'all gotta fight back, bro. Stop being getting punched in the face and just laying down. Like, yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I mean. I don't know, man. It's gonna be real scary. I might have to come and move over there to Canada and get the fuck
Well,
out.
you know what? You know someone now. So, hey, whenever you're ready. I mean, I think the next few months is going to be a make it or break it for, remember, whatever happens to the States happens to Canada. So, whatever you guys are going to go through, we're most likely going to be, getting some of that ripple effect as well. So, now just to finish off this interview, because you have given us so much knowledge about the manga world, about your series, and even politics, because I learned something, and I'm sure my viewers are going to be learning something from this as well. But are there any upcoming projects or collaborations, maybe shows or maybe signings?
I'll be in DreamCon next week. So that's RDC World's huge anime and gaming convention. They bring pretty much all the biggest YouTubers out, a couple celebrities. It's like 20, 30,000 uh,
Nice.
black anime fans that pop out in Texas. We pretty much take the whole city over and thug it out. So yeah, I'll be there. And then after that, I don't really think I have any other ones after that. I was gonna do anime NYC, but I don't think I'm gonna do anime NYC. So besides that, now as far as upcoming projects and collaborations, should hear something soon, probably in like another month or so. Still trying to lock some things in behind the scenes. And yeah, but God willing, something will be will
It will
be
happen.
through. Yeah, yeah. Then I'll be able to announce it, and then it'll be like, all right, we got to run it back, run another interview back. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And remember, my viewers, this is not the only time you will see Quintin on my channel. As I said, he's going to be on my channel more often. We want to follow the journey, right?
Yeah,
This is a one of a kind project.
yeah,
First time for me, I'm sure first time for many of you. And also, as I said, I'll be putting all of Quintin's details, Knights of the Abyss details in the description box. So please check it out. And also like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, if you're someone that's trying to get into the manga world, in the creator world, in the artistic world, hey, in on Instagram, DM Quintin. I'm sure he'll respond to you. If not, DM
yeah.
me. I'll get back to you as well. We need to see more people in this sector because it is a growing sector. And I know sometimes many of you are shy and don't want to be on the forefront. So why not do manga and anime? You don't get to put your face in it. Nobody really knows who you are. You can pick a cool name for yourself, pick some cool characters, and yeah, you can start a whole new journey for yourself. Tell us any final details before we head out.
Yeah, man. So, well, first, appreciate you guys again for having me on. Great interview, my guy, good dude. And
Thank you.
I'll say, yeah. So the We Fund is up. We just passed 100K. We are talking to some important people, well, more than a few. So, God willing, something will come through. Then I'll be able to update the We Funder with that information. If you are in Canada, which most of you are, I don't think Canada allows y'all to invest because they have some weird thing with WeFunder. So you would have to contact some friends and family in the States or somewhere else and kind of do it that way. But yeah, man, we're rocking and rolling. Oh yeah, also the entire series is migrating over to Webtoons. So I'm selling the last books now. So definitely tap in. Actually, just because this is the full book one. This is the entire story so far.
That
So I'll
looks
be
so cool.
yeah, yeah. Actually I'll send you this one, bro. I'll sign it. I got you, bro. I'll send you this one.
What? I
Yeah,
appreciate it. Much love. Thank you.
I got you. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's only 75 of these, and yeah, so definitely tap in and check it out.
That is amazing. Thank you so much, Quintin, for the last few thoughts about your manga series. Viewers, please make sure you check them out, especially my American viewers. Invest because, hey, remember, not every investment is financial. You can get updated stories, you can get sneak peeks behind the scenes, and I'm sure one day once Quintin hits the mainstream and blows up, you can confidently say that you were there from the beginning and you didn't just jump on a bandwagon. All right, my viewers. All right, Quintin, thank you so much, and we will definitely talk. So my viewers, stay ranting.
You saw that fire trailer just now? Well, what if I told you you could own a piece of that anime? If you head on over to WeFunder.com, you can invest and claim a part of it for yourself, thus making this more than just your regular anime. This is fan-owned, people. Check it out.